Welcome everybody, thanks for tuning in again, and I want to think out loud in this video about regulatory credits and what impact they might have on NIO's bottom line, so profitability. If you're aware, EV companies, pure EV companies, they are piling up lots of credits, so regulatory credits, meaning kind of CO2 certificates type of thing that those companies are buying or must buy that have a fleet that is still very pollutant. So these are, a credit systems in place that is actually helping offsetting some of the pollution put out by mostly legacy makers like, the Volkswagens, the Fords, and so on, who otherwise would have to pay fines. So that's why they are buying up those regulatory credits, and they have been a very vital role in Tesla's earnings. So these are the quarterly earnings and the revenues in millions USD derived by regulatory credits. So, more than 500 million a quarter up to, 890, almost 1 billion in quarterly revenues here. So that's very significant because, of course, this is also something that is high margin and really helps those EV players out there. And Tesla has been criticized for that its profitability is sometimes not really only about selling the cars, but also made of these credits, which are helping them, having just better profitability in the end. But I think that's nonsense. I think it's, part of why Tesla exists, to change the whole industry to EV. And, it's part of the game. Everybody, including Volkswagen and so on, could fully switch to EV tomorrow and not require buying credits of other automakers. Now, this is for Tesla. Now, just highlighting how important that is. And now thinking a bit about NIO here, I've also asked ChatGPT. And so, by the way, always please, double check these numbers. They could be wrong. First of all, I could make, wrong estimations here, but also it could be wrong by what ChatGPT answers. But basically, I asked ChatGPT, please give me the other sales revenues, because NIO is not always really talking about the regulatory credits, but they must be under other sales. And then also tell me in which of the quarters have they actually talked about regulatory credits in the earnings call, as well as in the press release for the earnings, because what these EV makers like NIO or Tesla can do is they can sell them on the spot, or they can make a deal, or they can wait and pile them up, right? There's nobody telling them at what point they need to sell them. So we have only a couple of quarters, Q3 2021, Q4 2021, and Q3 2022, where they actually made it public, and it's somehow in the earnings report that they have sold regulatory credits. And for the other quarters, I didn't find, at least through this ChatGPT search, any indications. And lately, whenever I looked, there wasn't any hint in the earnings call. So we're not quite sure whether or not they have been selling regulatory credits in the past. And so it's some sort of a speculation at this point, also what I'm putting out in this video, whether or not they are really selling them. Now, what I've done next here is I've made a chart which here with the bars, they are showing you the cumulative sales volume over time. So meaning, each of the quarter added to the next one, and over time you can see how the deliveries and basically the fleet of NIO cars has been going up. It's only started in Q1 2021, so it's not entirely complete, but it's just to give you a sense. And then in the blue line are the other sales reported in the earnings report. And as you can see here, we have quite a spike here in the other sales. And that has been in 2021, mainly when NIO was talking about selling those credits. So you can see what you would actually think of how this chart might be looking like without selling regulatory credits. It would be somewhat like this, like the growth curve pretty much correlating with this cumulative volume of cars delivered. Because what are other sales? The other sales are, for example, what they make with NIO Life, what they make with selling accessories, what they make with charging services, and so on. And of course, that must be growing whenever they are actually increasing the fleet size, because it's the users who are contributing to these other sales, right? So it makes sense that this line should actually be like the red line, and you can see that we have now a little bit of an anomaly here with the other sales spiking. They should have been, for example, in Q3 2021, rather less than 100 million, but have actually come in close to almost 200 million here. And that's again happening here to a lesser extent, and then it's dropping back down and again rising quite significantly here, but over this what should be the trend line, in my opinion. So especially now here in the last couple of quarters, I don't see any spike anymore, and we don't get any reports by NIO about selling regulatory credits, and I haven't seen any analyst asking about it either. So that tells me that there is a likelihood, a possibility that NIO, after maybe here, has really stopped selling regulatory credits. Why? Because the volumes are just getting higher and higher here, so they are selling many, many more cars. However, the other sales, they are just pretty much in line with what this trajectory should be, and there is not any more of those spikes. What could be an explanation is maybe they have acquired credits for a very long time in 2018, 2019, and so on, and only in 2021 they decided to actually start selling them, and then from here on they have just kept on selling them with each of the quarter, but wouldn't talk about it anymore. But that should be also a little bit strange, right? Or the second option, which I'm hinting at, which might be a possibility here, is that they have really stopped selling them after here, and now piling them up since 2023, or maybe even parts of 2022, and that would be a huge potential catalyst in the future for this possible again spike, like we've seen here in other sales, going beyond this trajectory, right? The other sales are now well below, above 250 million. And as you've seen here, I mean, it's been more than double of what they have been during that time when they've sold the credit. So could we see other sales spiking to 500, 600, 700 million if they sell everything that they have been piling up here? Possible. And that might make a big dent also in the bottom line of NIO, if certainly, because that's going straight to the bottom line here. That would really decrease the net losses significantly by a couple of 100 millions per quarter, whenever that were to happen. Okay. What speaks against that? Maybe why wouldn't they have sold them in the past, knowing that they otherwise have to raise money, that they look less profitable, that they see the stock reacting negatively to each of the quarters with the losses mounting and so on. Why would they not go out and start selling them? Well, I have no idea about that. I could only speculate about it. And what I also think is there is a way they could make a deal with a partner in the future as well, because as I said, it's about a free market. They can do whatever they want and sell it to whoever wants to sell them at whichever price. And what I haven't done here, I haven't looked into how the price for these certificates is actually fluctuating right now. As we've seen with Tesla, they just keep on selling them as they have them. But for NIO, I would at least put a question mark here after the beginning of 2023 if they kept on selling it. The other sales here rather give me the impression that they have not, but I don't know it for sure. I would like to see maybe an analyst asking this question in the next quarterly report if they still do not report any certificates being sold. Let me know in the comments what you think. Has NIO already sold their credits over time, or are we sitting at a huge stockpile of potential gains, high margin gains, as we can see with Tesla reports that NIO has not used up now? Interesting question, isn't it? Thanks for watching.